So we're going to get the ball rolling here. We've been asked to discuss careers in engineering. And as everyone here knows, that's a mighty undertaking, since there's 6 major branches of engineering and literally hundreds of subcategories and different types of engineering specialties under each branch. So our idea to give a good, well-rounded perspective on engineering was to invite a panel of different folks to share their ideas and their experiences in their engineering careers so far. So we brought together a roundtable. My name is Steve Wagner. I'm the communication manager at NTech Engineering. And we're going to start off by introducing the panel real quick. So if we could go around, if you could just tell us, who you are, where you went to school, how long you've been at NTech, and your current title. So 4 things. We'll keep it simple.
Name is Josh Klostik. I've been with NTech for 6 years. I'm an engineering designer. I went to high school at Wilson High School and college at Penn State University, majored in petroleum and natural gas engineering.
I'm Christine. I've been with NTech for 5.5 years, and I've got engineering degrees at Drexel University, architectural engineering and civil engineering, and then an MBA from Penn State, local campus outside of Philadelphia, Great Valley. And I've got the coolest title here at NTech. I'm a senior project manager and storage tank queen, as in storage tanks, as in water tanks. So, and it's really on my business card.
Hi, I'm Lynette Wells. My title is principal at NTech. I've been here for 14 years. I went to the University of Kansas for my undergraduate degree in architecture, and then I went to the University of Pennsylvania for a master's degree in historic preservation.
Hi, I'm Kathy Montano. I am not an engineer. I went to Gettysburg College. I have a degree in management. I'm currently enrolled in the MBA program with Alvernia. I am the Human Resources Director for NTech, and November 8th, I will be here 10 years.
I'm Matt Quinn. I am an engineering designer in our CER department here at NTech. I am coming up on 10 years here, working full-time with the company. Went to Penn State University, both main and Schuylkill campuses, and have a degree in civil engineering.
So we've got a very exciting, broad, and diverse panel here. So I started off with the easy ones. Now I'm going to move into a hard question. And the first one I have was for Kathy.
Oh,
what does an engineer do?
I don't know.
Good. That's a good thing, because I'm sure a lot of the people watching this right now have that same answer. They're not sure. And it is a hard career to define. I remember, when I was in school, not quite being able to really grasp, what an engineer does, and the definitions were not that helpful. So Matt, can you tell us in your own words, what does an engineer do?
I would say the quickest answer is we're problem solvers.
Oh, that's my answer too. We solve problems.
Same here.
Not problem solvers. Lynette, do you have anything to add?
Make things work.
Make things work.
Invent things.
Invent things. Yes, very good. And I actually found a good definition courtesy of the internet, a little place we like to call the internet, and Wikipedia, which I thought was good. And I'll just read it here. It's an engineer is a professional who invents, designs, analyzes, builds and tests machines, complex systems, structures, gadgets, and materials to fulfill functional objectives and requirements while considering the limitations imposed by practicality, regulation, safety, and cost.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely written by an engineer. So let's talk a little bit about like the day-to-day of being an engineer, and I know a lot of you have different perspectives and experiences, because it is so varied and diverse. So maybe let's talk about first is in the office. Now, obviously we're all in our own offices right now, working remotely in various places. But in general terms, are you in the office most days? Are you out on project sites? Are you somewhere where we have no idea, somewhere else? Are you on the beach somewhere? Christine, what's your percentage of time you think in the office versus out in the field, and what's that look like?
Before COVID, it was like 50-50. Ideally, half the time I'm at a computer, but keep this in mind. Like if I have internet, I can work anywhere. Yesterday, I got to a job site early and I'm like, oh, need a coffee. So I went to a coffee shop, sat outside, got my coffee, and I had internet, and I sat there for an hour and a half working with my laptop. So I work everywhere, which is phenomenal. And then I can go see clients, I can go to job sites, go see tanks being built. And so it's half and half. And ideally, like everyone is best suited to something a little different. So the more experience you can get, the younger you are. Any sort of job training when you're in high school, or I chose Drexel University because of the co-op program. I had 3 different 6-month programs where I got to work. I got to work for an engineering firm, work for a utility, work at a university, and just really see day to day, what do you do? And then you get a sense of, okay, can I stand being behind a computer hour after hour, day after day, doing the exact same thing? Or do I need variety where I can go out and touch things and feel things and see things and talk to people? And I needed to get out. So the co-op really helped me realize that. And I've always ensured that the jobs I've had have opportunities where I can get out of the office, which is, but some people, they prefer to stay in. So it really depends on what you like.
So Matt, why don't you tell us about your day-to-day and in the office or on projects split?
Yeah, I would almost say that in the work that I do, which is primarily drinking water and wastewater, it almost becomes seasonal to a point here in Pennsylvania. As we enter the spring months up through about this time of year, you could spend half your week out in the field on construction sites and meetings and making site visits for new designs.
When did you know that you wanted to be an engineer?
I didn't. My mom told me what to do. And it's mainly because ever since I was like 4 years old, three years old, I was building blocks, tinker toys, logs, always designing things. And my God, my dad's an engineer. I never knew what he did. I had no idea. I guess he never explained it really well to make it simple so I could understand him. Yet I knew if you get a degree in engineering, there's lots of jobs out there and I'll make money. Like, okay.
For me, it was kind of like Christine. I grew up with so many Legos, just building nonstop. But also the classes that I was most interested in school were all my sciences and the shop classes. And what I came to realize there is I like the problem solving aspect. My favorite activities were the ones where it's, we're gonna drop an egg off the bleachers, and the teams that don't let it crack are the winners. That was always super fun to me. And that's the kind of mindset, if something like that interests you, that's the kind of mindset that builds engineers from what I've seen.
My journey was pretty circuitous. I mean, it went all over the place. I went 3 years of school and was kind of like, what am I doing? Like, what is this about? And technically I can do it, but I finally realized that that wasn't my favorite part. Like, I like to put things together, and I kind of I wanted to make our built world better. Like, I wanted to build things in it that were good for people. And have come to this place where I realized what I am most interested in is helping those who want to be doing that be really great at it. And so, I went through being technical. You need to jump through that hoop. You need to kind of learn the foundations. You got to be able to put some drawings together. But it didn't mean I had to do that forever. And there's lots of aspects of how that team works together that gives opportunity, as other people have said, for whatever your gift or strength is. If it's not, maybe it's not math, but that's okay.
We also have to communicate to this same message to various audiences. So changing, if we're writing a permit, let's say, that needs to go to a regulator, we need to get into extreme detail why we picked this pump at what flow rate and pressures and everything else. But also keep in mind, you have to convey that same message to the person who needs to run that pump every day. They're not over, they need to know some of that stuff, but they're not overly concerned. They want to know what's going to affect their everyday job. The person who has to run that pump and the person who's reviewing the selection of that pump are two different audiences. So I guess the message there, and it's regardless of engineering or whatever field you're going into, is always be aware of the audience that you are writing to, talking to. And sometimes you might need to take the same message and convey it two different ways to two different audiences.
One thing that I think is really important is that it's very much of a team sport, is what I like to call it. It takes a lot of, you need to know your part, but you also need to understand how your part touches other people's and influences other people's pieces, components. So a mechanical engineer can say, well, we're going to have an air conditioner and it's going to pump air around in ductwork, and they have to figure out that system and where the parts go and how big they have to be. But the electrical engineer has to know that there's going to be an air conditioner and that you have to get power to it for it to work too. So they're always coordinating with each other, and all those things that are running around in the building have to work around the structural parts. You're not putting it in a column. Maybe you've got to make sure it goes around a column. So it's very much of a team sport, and there's lots of places to be in it.
We no longer have pen and paper like the old days and have to be artists with our drawings. It's mostly computer drawings. So any sort of CAD software, if you have the opportunity to learn any sort of CAD programs in any of your classes, definitely take the steps to do so. That is very important. It gives you a big leg up on some of the stuff you have to do later on.
Yeah, this is a story I tell before so many of the presentations that I give at conferences. And I'd been working at a firm building tanks for about a year, and I was struggling because I didn't know anything. I was new, and I'd go out to job sites and I'm like, well, is the contractor telling the truth? The owner saying this, the engineer saying that? I'm like, who do I believe? I hated, I felt stupid. And I didn't know who to turn to. And the president of the company said to me, Christine, it takes 5 years of experience to get 5 years of experience. And here's the thing, he was right. It sucked, I'm sorry, it stinks because I wanted to take a class or a pill or read a book. I wanted to know everything right away, but I'd been there 1 year. And Leo was right. After 5 years, I was feeling better. I understood stuff. I knew who to believe, who to trust, and I sort of understood step by step what was going on.
And ask as many questions as you want. It doesn't make you stupid. In fact, it makes you smart.
As an engineer, there is a lot to learn from other people that aren't necessarily engineers in the field, but they bring our designs to life, and they're very efficient and good at it. And you meet a lot of smart people along the way.
You've got to do it yourself. I cannot tell you how many phone calls I get from people's mothers.
Oh my God.
Saying, oh yeah, saying, my son has this project for school and he needs to shadow an engineer. And I cut them off immediately, and I'm like, well, your son needs to contact me. if you can't approach an employer yourself and you need your mother to do it or your father to do it, I have no interest in bringing you in. I would say, I don't know, anywhere between 40 and 60,000 a year, starting salary for a recent graduate. And again, that's, you know, if you're getting into chemical engineering and petroleum engineering,
Mhm.
those are going to be at the higher level. Our standard benefits apply to all full-time employees. So, you know, 3 weeks of vacation, paid holidays, you know, medical insurance, life insurance, 401k, all those things that really, when you're going for your first job, especially now that you can stay on your parents' benefits until you're 26, are not really things that recent graduates are thinking about. I wish they would, but you know, they're not thinking about saving for retirement.
All right. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day, and everyone who's watching. Hopefully, we lended a little bit of clarity into the mysterious ball that is engineering today. And wish everybody out there, you know, good luck. You know, if engineering is something you choose to pursue. All right, we'll sign off, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you,
Thanks,
Steve.
Steve.
Thank
Nice
you.